welcome to For What It's Worth. This is the show that tests your quizzing knowledge and teases your interest in antiques. We have 3 pairs of contestants who are ready to play, and each team has a quizzer who has to answer a general knowledge question correctly so that their partner, the picker, has a chance to choose an antique or collectible and build a collection. Now, the aim of the game is to amass the most valuable collection. Every good show needs a double act, and here on For What It's Worth, we're no exception, and if I'm Morecambe, he is definitely more wise. Would you please welcome our antiques expert, Charlie Ross.
Oh, thank you, Fern.
It's a pleasure. So, what do we have for our consideration today?
Oh, I've got a galaxy of delicious items for you. And for you, contestants, we have an album, a garden set, a stamp booklet, goblets, toy, aid memoir, vase, tankard, watch key, a pendant, a cigar lighter, and a bust.
Very interesting. Now, one of these items is our top lot, which is worth a whopping £2,500. And that is, of course, the lot to spot, because at the end of the show, the winning pair will walk away with the cash equivalent of one of their items. But beware, because the lots decrease in value right down to our worthless lot, which is worth £10 or less. That is the lot to avoid. So, who's playing today? Let's meet our teams. Team 1, who are you?
My name's Caroline, and this is my friend Suzanne.
Hi, my name's Suzanne. I like antiques, and Caroline likes quizzes.
The perfect mix for a team.
Yeah.
Well done. Welcome, Team 1. Team 2, who are you?
Hello, Fern. My name's Clive, and this is my lovely daughter, Laura.
I'm a full-time mum, and I love looking at antiques that my father brings back from his travels all over the world.
That's also pretty good for a team, don't you think? And Team 3, who are you?
I'm John, and this is my housemate Darren.
He likes antiques, and I like London buses.
Welcome, Team 3. So, earlier, our teams got to inspect our lots, watched over in secret by our expert, Charlie. But could they separate the jewels from the junk?
Oh, looks nice and bright, doesn't it?
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Goblets.
They look silver, don't they?
They look silver. Spotted.
Beautiful, don't they? Quite heavy.
Wouldn't mind them myself. Onyx.
Onyx with gold, I assume.
Looks like a natural pearl.
It's got a sort of an Art Deco look to it, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. But it's rather modern, though, isn't it? I don't like this.
Well, I don't like it, but they're
No.
quite collectible.
30s, 40s?
No idea.
No idea.
It's probably late Georgian.
But it might give you a clue if you look at it, man. Signed.
A signature. I reckon this is worth a lot of money. Captain Scarlet.
Do you remember? Gosh, that brings back memories of my childhood.
It looks in good nick, doesn't it? There's no rips or anything.
Free competition to win a holiday for 4 in sunny Mallorca.
This is in good condition because it's got its original box with it.
OK, it's a Caravelle, Air France. 50s,
I should think possibly 60s.
50s, 60s.
Or was it 70s?
Isn't she gorgeous?
Well, it's a wood carving.
What's it made out of?
Wood.
But she's ugly. I mean, look at the face on that.
That is one ugly child.
Oh, it's a cigar lighter. That's unusual. That's wood, and then they got silver at the end there.
That's hideous.
It's got, like, ruby eyes.
Are they rubies?
Are they rubies?
I don't know, they look gloss to me.
This is a small Victorian writing pad.
It's got somebody's address on. 220-something road, Pot Glasgow.
Nope.
No.
Don't know.
It's a book of stamps. How many are there? 2 shillings.
2 shillings.
Bourneville.
Bourneville, just down the road from where we live.
Oh, it would be George the V, wouldn't it?
George V.
This little cup. It's got a maker's mark on the bottom. I don't recognise it. It's not made out of China, though, is it? Can you
Yes, it's made out of China.
see through it?
Yeah.
You don't have to see through China.
It's a key for a watch and a fob. I can't see any hallmarks on it, but that doesn't mean to say it's not gold.
And that's something to look at. Maybe that could be worth a bit.
I think my top lot would be the little bust and the bottom one, the chairs.
Laura, your bottom lot.
It's got to be those goblets.
The top lot, for me, it has to be the bust.
So I think the top lot's the cigar lighter.
The bottom for me is definitely Captain Scarlet. I tell you, can we get out of here because that thing's looking at me?
Interesting. How has the valuation on the lots been worked out, Charlie?
Well, the values for each lot have been agreed between myself and an independent valuer. They're based on the hammer price we would expect them to reach at auction, but with no auction costs added.
OK. Just to add an extra twist, we have our mystery lot. Could be worth thousands, or it could be worth peanuts. That is for our winners to decide a little bit later. But for now, it's time for round 1. I'm going to ask 8 general knowledge questions. Now, pickers, before each one, I will ask you to select which lot you would like to play for, and then quizzers, if you buzz in with a correct answer, you'll get to add it to your collection. But beware, if you buzz in with an incorrect answer, you'll be frozen out of the next question. So, pickers, please make your first pick. Let's see what you've chosen. Caroline and Suzanne have gone for the bust, as have Laura and Clive. Darren and John have gone for the cigar lighter. Quizzers, fingers on buzzers, here's question 1. Checkpoint Charlie was a famous crossing point of which notorious barrier? Yes, Darren.
The Berlin Wall.
Correct. The Berlin Wall it is. The cigar lighter is yours. Well done. Pickers, pick a lot. You have all gone for the bust. Here we go, question 2. Singer Freddie Mercury was born on which island now belonging to Tanzania? Yes, Darren.
Zanzibar.
Zanzibar it is. Congratulations, the bust is in your collection. Pickers make a pick. Caroline and Suzanne have gone for the goblets, Laura and Clive the vase, and Darren and John have gone for the goblets too. Here's question 3. In a calendar year, which is the first month to be exactly 30 days long? Yes, Laura.
April.
It is April, correct. The vase is yours.
Well done.
Pickers make a pick. Caroline and Suzanne have gone for the goblets, Laura and Clive have gone for the aide memoir, and Darren and John have also gone for the goblets. Question 4, quizzers. In 2015, who did Sandy Toksvig replace as the main host of the panel show QI? Yes, Laura.
Stephen Fry.
Correct, it is Stephen Fry. The aide memoir is yours. Pickers make a pick. Caroline and Suzanne sticking with the goblets. Laura and Clive have chosen the album, but Darren and John are still sticking with the goblets. Question 5. Which 1964 Alfred Hitchcock film starred Tippi Hedren and Sean Connery? Laura.
The Birds.
Incorrect, it wasn't The Birds, it was Marnie. Laura and Clive, you're now frozen out of the next question. Suzanne and John, please make your pick. Caroline and Suzanne, Darren and John have both gone for the goblets. This is the battle of the goblets. Here we go. Question 6. Published in 1844, which French author wrote The Count of Monte Cristo? Time up. It was Alexandre Dumas. Sorry, Caroline, you were too late. Laura and Clive, you're now back in the game, so pickers make a pick. Caroline and Suzanne, the goblets. Laura and Clive, the garden set. Darren and John, the goblets. Question 7. The group of genetically altered superheroes mentored by Splinter are what type of... Yes, Laura.
Turtles.
Correct, as in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The garden set is yours. Pickers pick a lot. Caroline and Suzanne still with the goblets. Laura and Clive still with the album. Darren and John still going for the goblets. Final question, quizzers, in this round. In which Central American country are the ancient Mayan ruins Chichen Itza located? Yes, Caroline.
Mexico.
It is Mexico. The goblets are yours, and they start off your collection. Right, at the end of round 1, let's have a look at what our teams are collecting. Caroline and Suzanne, you have the goblets. Laura and Clive, you have the vase, the garden set, and the aide memoir. Darren and John, you have the cigar lighter and the bust. Now, our teams have started to build their collections, but have they chosen wisely? Well, before they have the chance to add more of them, Charlie is going to give each pair a fact about a lot of their choice, which should be everything they need to know to make a valuation. So, Team 1, you'll be up first, and let's find out a little bit more about you. Caroline, what do you do?
At the moment, I'm a housewife, but I used to be a childminder and a teacher.
And how did you meet Suzanne?
We moved to West Sussex about 20-odd years ago. My son was a baby, and I met Suzanne, whose daughter was the same age.
Oh,
so we've been friends for over 20 years.
And Suzanne, you used to be a biomedical scientist, is that right?
Yes, I was.
What does that mean?
Well, when you have a blood test and your blood's sent to the hospital for testing, that's what I've trained to do. So,
Now, what would you like to know more about from Charlie?
I'd like to know more about these stamps, please.
This is a 1924 2-shilling booklet of stamps. The postage stamp booklet is made up of one or more small panes of stamps in a cardboard cover. It has an advertisement pane on the front, which was, at the time, quite common. Not many booklets from this period remain fully intact, as most were, of course, used, surprisingly, for postage. But this one doesn't have any stamps missing. So does that make it something of real worth?
Laura and Clive, how very nice to meet you. Laura, do you collect anything?
I have a huge collection of toy cars, which are my son's, and I'm constantly going around the living room picking them up.
Yes, I can imagine that. How old is your son?
He's 2.5.
Yes, that collection's going to get bigger and bigger. And sitting next to you is your father, Clive. You've got a big coin collection, I think.
I have, yeah. I started off as many children do. It's a big passion, and you know, hopefully I can pass on that to my grandson in years to come.
What would you like to know more about from Charlie?
I'd like to know a little bit more about the tankard.
The tankard. This lovely piece is a tankard made by Longton Hall Pottery. They were known for producing a soft paste English porcelain, which was made for around about 10 years, between 1749 approximately and 1760. The factory also produced figures which are widely considered to be their finest work. So while Longton Hall porcelain is considered to be highly collectible, this isn't one of their most notable pieces. So will this tankard be, if I may say so, your cup of tea?
May well be.
I'll leave that thought with you while we meet Darren and John. Darren, what do you do?
I'm a handling agent for a major airline at Manchester Airport.
You bumped into one of the most famous women in the world.
Princess Diana. She was opening Terminal 3 and the press pushed me forward so they'd get a better photo. And she asked me what I was doing there.
How extraordinary. I understand, John, that you are very confident you will be able to spot the top lot today.
Hopefully.
You're sorry you said that now, yes. So what do you collect?
Like most antiques, but I like especially silver and any small quirky objects.
What would you like to know more about from Charlie?
The watch key fob.
A watch key is simply a key used to wind up the mechanism on a watch. This is an unusual mid-19th century folding watch key with a concealed locket. The frame is gold and the body is set with a green-coloured bloodstone on one side and a red cornelian on the other. That makes it pretty rare. But what's it worth?
Has that helped at all? No. OK, time to play round 2. In this round, the pickers will select a lot to play for and the quizzers will again try and secure it by answering correctly. But this time around, the lots come with their own question categories, and here they are. So if you're going to go for the stamp booklet, the quizzers would have a choice to answer either a question about cocktails or kings and queens. At the end of this round, the team with the least valuable collection will be eliminated, so choose wisely. Team 1, you're up first. So, Suzanne, tell me, what's your lot?
The stamp booklet, please.
The stamp booklet. Caroline, cocktails or kings and queens?
Kings and queens, please.
Here we go. The English King Harold II died at a famous battle in which year?
1066.
Correct, of course. The stamp booklet is yours. There it is. Clive, pick a lot for me.
The tankard.
The tankard, Oceans and Seas or Bollywood, Laura?
Oceans and seas, please.
Oceans and Seas. The eastern seaboard of the United States borders which ocean?
The Atlantic.
Correct, it is. The tankard is yours. John, please make a pick.
The watch key fob.
Darren, US sports or insects?
Insects, please.
Here we go. Because of the way it folds its legs when resting, which insect is commonly described as praying?
A mantis.
A mantis is correct. The watch key fob is yours. And there it is in your collection. Now, teams, have you missed out on that one lot that you really wanted? Because if so, here's your chance to get your hands on it. From now on, you can either go for what's left on the grid or you can try to steal a lot that is in a rival team's collection. Bit of strategy here, but pickers, be warned, if you choose to steal from another team, they will get to choose which category your quizzer must face. And there's only one rule here. You cannot steal from a team who has only one lot in their collection. Team 1, do you want to pick or steal?
Steal, please.
What do you want to steal?
The cigar lighter.
The cigar lighter from Darren and John. Right, Darren and John, pick a category for Caroline.
Bollywood, please.
Bollywood.
Bollywood. The film Lagan depicts Indian villagers and British soldiers competing in which sport?
Cricket.
Correct.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
That was lucky.
Yeah. Sorry,
So,
guys.
the cigar lighter is yours. Clive, pick or steal?
I'll go for a steal.
Yes.
And we'll go for the bust.
The bust. Oh, they're ram-raiding you, Darren and John. Here we
Yeah,
go.
sorry about that, guys.
Darren and John, choose a category for Laura to answer.
US sport? Yeah, US sport.
Laura? Which American sport is played on a surface commonly known as the gridiron?
Baseball.
Incorrect. It's football. Well defended, Darren and John. And now it's your turn. Pick or steal?
Steal the cigar lighter.
Steal the cigar lighter from Caroline and Suzanne, who stole it from you. Caroline and Suzanne, give Darren a category.
Cocktails.
Cocktails. Darren, which spirit is used to make a dark and stormy?
Rum.
Rum is correct. You've won the cigar lighter back.
I'm teetotal.
And there it goes. Team 1, pick or steal?
Steal.
Steal. What would you like to steal?
Cigar lighter.
Oh, the cigar lighter. Darren and John, what category for Caroline?
US sport.
US sports. In a professional basketball match, a team on court has how many players?
7.
Incorrect. 5. Well defended, Darren and John. Laura and Clive, pick or steal?
I'll go for the bust.
Going for the bust. Darren and John, a category for Laura, please.
Go for US sport again.
US sports again. Laura, here's your question. Chicago Blackhawks and Boston Bruins are professional teams in which US sport?
Baseball.
Incorrect. Ice hockey. Well defended again, Darren and John. Pick or steal?
Steal the vase, please.
Steal the vase from Laura and Clive. Laura and Clive, a category for Darren, please.
Get their own back.
Bollywood.
Bollywood.
Darren. Bride and Prejudice is a Bollywood-style interpretation of a book by which author?
Pride and Prejudice. Emily Bronte.
Incorrect.
Charlotte.
Jane Austen. Well defended. Laura and Clive, you're keeping the vase. Well, that is the end of the round, so let's see how the collections are looking. Caroline and Suzanne, you have the goblets and the book of stamps. Laura and Clive, you have the vase, the garden set, the tankard and the aide memoir. Darren and John, you have the bust, the cigar lighter and the watch key. Now, for one team, it is the end of the road. Charlie has been keeping tabs, and the team with the least valuable collection will now be eliminated. So, Charlie, who's having to leave us first?
Well, someone's got to go. It's the nature of the game. The pair leaving us first is Suzanne and Caroline.
Caroline and Suzanne, we're very sorry to say goodbye to you so early. And not only are you leaving the game, but so are the two items in your collection. But I'm sure you want to know how much they're worth, don't you?
Absolutely,
Yes. Good. Charlie, let us know.
Now, here we have a pair of mid-Victorian sterling silver goblets. They weigh 280 grams each, and they're in good condition, despite what one or two of you said about them. Produced in London 1863, they are referred to as mid-Victorian. Coming as a pair is good, but are there only two of a much larger set? Well, sadly, they're out of fashion. I've got a value here of £180.
Gosh.
Surprisingly low for such splendid objects, I think. Now, the booklet. And the great thing about this lot, of course, is that it's intact. And as intact, hugely collectible by philatelists. Very valuable and well chosen because £900 is the value.
So, Charlie, what's the total value of the collection?
Well, it's a jolly healthy £1,080. Sadly, not quite healthy enough.
Oh, Caroline and Suzanne, you did do well, though, didn't you? But sadly, it is time to bring the hammer down on your collection and say thank you for playing for what it's worth.
Thank you.
And also the unclaimed items in the grid are now leaving the game. So let's quickly find out from Charlie what they're worth and if the top lot is still in the game.
Well, we will find out. Let's talk about the toy. It's in very good condition. It comes with the original box. There are some rubs to the transfers on the plane and box as wear and tear. But this is a pretty good lot, and it's worth £200. Now, this is an Edwardian pearl and sapphire pendant and chain. The pendant can be described as half pear drop, meaning that the pearl itself has a teardrop oval shape to it. The gold on this piece is 15-carat gold, which only adds to the quality of the materials used. Its geometric shape gives it an elegant and simple look, reflecting the Art Deco trends of the period. And that will certainly add to its commercial appeal. But does the elegance of this piece seduce you? Well, it obviously didn't. More interestingly, what's it worth? £300. Now, the album. Here we have a Captain Scarlet mini-album relating to a lovely piece of British television history. Between September 1965 and September 1967, Century 21 Records issued 30 mini-albums, which featured spin-off adventures of children's TV shows. However, this one is special. This is a brand new adventure, not featured on television and performed by the original team. On its own, it might seem inconsequential, easy to dismiss. But to collectors looking to complete a set, this mini-album could be extremely desirable. But in fact, it isn't, and it's completely worthless.
Really?
I'm afraid so.
So is the £2,500 lot still in play, Charlie?
Well, I think it probably is.
Good. And also, don't forget, teams, we still have the mystery lot to tempt you with at the end of the game. It may be worth even more or less. Teams, congratulations on getting this far. You now have one last chance to pick our experts' brains. Which lot do you need to know more about, Team 2?
The aide memoir.
This splendid item is a sterling silver aide memoir produced by the brothers David and Lionel Spires, Birmingham, 1882. Aide memoir, of course, literally translates as memory aid. And these were basically early versions of notepads. Produced in the late 19th century at the time, this would have been considered a luxury item, reserved not only for those who could afford to buy one, but who could actually read and write. Although there are a few surviving pages, complete with the scribblings of a previous owner, its value would be increased significantly if the original paper and pen had survived. That said, this item is as usable today as it was when it was first produced over 130 years ago. And people love an antique they can use. What does that mean for its value?
Darren and John, what would you like to know more about?
Cigar lighter.
What an object. This is a rather quirky cigar lighter in the shape of a snake, made in London in 1884. The silver head has been inlaid with red glass eyes and mounted onto an impala horn handle. This cigar lighter was made prior to the 1947 controls that were imposed by the CITES Agreement, which governs that trade of endangered species. And in fact, impala have never been considered at risk. But nevertheless, it won't be many modern buyers' cup of tea. That said, the idea of using an impala's natural curvature to replicate the form of a writhing snake is inspiring, if not a little disconcerting to some. And it does make this an engaging, if divisive, object.
Well, it's now time for our final round. And at the end of it, we will have our winners. In this round, I'll show you a category and 12 possible answers. Now, 9 of those are correct, 3 are not. Each of you will then take turns to choose an answer you think is correct. And as it's the final round, both quizzers and pickers will play, so there's nowhere to hide. Pick a wrong answer and your opponents will be able to steal a lot from your collection. If all 9 correct answers are given, then the team who gives the final correct answer will be the winners. We'll play 3 questions in total. The pair with the most valuable collection at the moment can choose to go first or second on this one. So, Charlie, who is that at the moment?
I can reveal that the team who currently has the most valuable collection is John and Darren.
OK, Team 3, Darren and John. Your first question is Care Bears. Can you name any of the popular children's toy characters which originally appeared on greetings cards in the 1980s? Would you like to go first or second?
Go first.
First, please.
First, OK, here are the answers. Darren, would you please give me an answer?
I'm remembering my next door neighbour when we were kids. Tenderheart, I think.
If this goes green, it's correct. One of the 10 original Care Bears. Laura, give me an answer.
Take Care Bear.
Correct, yes, she helps her friends. John.
Bedtime bear.
Correct. He has blue fur. Clive.
Love a lot bear.
Love a lot bear. Correct. She has heart symbols on her tummy. Darren.
I think Good Luck Bear. I think it was green with a shamrock.
Good luck bear. Yes, he's green indeed. Well done. Laura.
Funshine Bear.
Has sunshine yellow fur. John.
Happy bear.
Oh! Incorrect. Let's have a look at the other wrong answers. Happy is one of the 7 dwarfs, of course, so he wasn't a happy bear. Jar Jar Bear, no such thing, but Jar Jar is from Star Wars. The Running Bear, a song by Johnny Preston. Well, Laura and Clive, you can steal from Darren and John.
OK, the bust, please.
You'd like to steal the bust? It's yours. Right, it's now Team 2's turn. Laura and Clive, this is your question. Species of spider. Can you spot any of these species of spider found in the UK? Would you like to go first or second?
First, please.
First, let's have a look at the answers. Laura, give me an answer.
Money Spider.
Money spider. Of course, that's the tiny little spider. Darren.
Wolf spider.
Wolf spider. Correct. They have a wolf-like habit of chasing their prey. Clive.
Wasp spider.
They have wasp-like markings on their abdomens. John.
Cave spider.
Is that correct? Yes, one of the largest spiders in the UK. Laura.
Shelob Spider.
Oh, it's a character from Lord of the Rings. OK, let's look where the other wrong answers are. There's no Dumbo spider, because, of course, Dumbo's an elephant. And there's no Porsche spider, because I believe that's a car. Darren and John, you may steal from Laura and Clive.
Difficult, but I think the bust. Please.
The bust? Oh, OK, the bust is going back into your collection.
This is like ping pong.
Yep. This is the last question in this round. Team 3, Darren and John, it's your question, so let's have a look at it. Cabinet Office Departments. Can you tell us which of these are genuine ministerial departments headed by a UK Cabinet Minister? Do you want to go first or second?
First again?
First
Yeah,
again.
First, OK, here are the answers. Darren, give me an answer.
Work and pensions.
Work and pensions. Correct. Laura, give me an answer.
Education.
Well done. John.
Energy and climate change.
Correct. Clive.
Transport.
Correct. Darren, give me an answer.
Minister for Health.
Yes. Laura.
Culture, media and sports.
Correct. John.
Future technologies and research.
Oh!
Sorry.
Incorrect. Let's have a look where the other incorrect answers are. There is no Royal Liaison Office and there is no Civil and Religious Affairs Office. Oh, my goodness, Darren and John. Laura and Clive are going to steal from you and you are going to steal...
The bust, please.
The bust.
The bust.
It's coming back to you. And there it is. That's it. Your collections are complete and fixed and will determine which team is victorious. Charlie, who are today's winners?
I can reveal that the pair with the most valuable collection and the winners today are... Laura and Clive.
Very well done, Laura and Clive. My goodness, that last round. Darren and John, commiserations to you. You didn't create a valuable enough collection. But before we say goodbye, let's find out how much your items are worth.
Well, the watch key. We've talked about the watch key. It is gold, and it's such an unusual object, isn't it? To have not only the key, but to have the locket within the same mechanism. I think it's a fabulous item, and it's worth £350. Now, the cigar lighter. Didn't the Victorians create some extraordinary objects? And this is pretty extraordinary. Partly charming, partly rather horrible. But it's a pretty valuable thing. And, of course, it went backwards and forwards. You all wanted it. It went pinging and ponging to and fro. And I'm not surprised because it's worth £700.
Wow. Darren and John, thank you so much for playing for what it's worth. Well done, Laura and Clive. You are today's winners, and now all that remains is for you to claim your prize. All you have to do is pick one of the lots in your collection, and we will give you its value in cash. Which one do you want to choose?
The very first thing I picked was the bust because it's beautiful. I also, one of the things I kind of considered in the room earlier was the vase, but I think I've got to go for the bust.
Definitely you're going for the bust?
We'll go for the bust, yeah.
Right. Before we tell you what the bust is worth, Charlie, would you please tell us what they haven't won?
I certainly will. They haven't won a garden set. It's a rather charming lot. It's a mid-20th century garden set in teal green. It's wrought and has hoop chairs. Wouldn't look out of place in an English country garden. It's likely that the set has been repainted and it shows signs of being well-loved and well-used. The turnings on the table legs differ slightly from the chairs. This could be a genuine design feature or the result of somebody putting this table and chairs together to make a set themselves. Either way, I don't think it makes much difference, to be perfectly honest, because we're looking at £75. So pleased you didn't keep that lot. The Aide Memoir. Well, we've talked about the Aide Memoir, and it's visually splendid and it's delightfully tactile. £100. Really not a lot of money for such a charming object. The tankard. This is absolutely delightful, and it's got a really fascinating history. If you look at the bottom of it, and I think it was John had spotted the bottom of it, said it's got a little anchor on it. That would tell you it's Chelsea. But actually it's Longton Hall. And Longton Hall was only made for a small period of time. And because Chelsea was so popular at the time, they thought, let's make it more valuable by putting an anchor on the bottom. But of course, nowadays, there's far more Chelsea about than there is Longton. So actually it's worked the other way round. And there would be very few people that could spot that, hence the value of it. It's got a whopping value. £1,000. The vase. Well, the vase is a Royal Worcester blush ivory twin-handled baluster vase circa 1900, painted with a cattle scene and signed by none other than John Stinton Jr. The Worcester Stinton dynasty is renowned for their famous Highland cattle and game bird scenes. Probably the best known of all Royal Worcester artists, with members of the family painting at the various Worcester factories for almost 160 years. And this is a valuable vase. Do you still wish you'd gone with it?
Not sure now.
You're not sure?
It was a toss-up to begin with.
Yeah.
And it still is, but I still prefer the bust, so...
You still prefer the bust, and may I say, you've made the right decision.
Whoa.
This is £1,500. Wow. The mouth's gone open. You can draw one conclusion here.
That's worth more.
Laura and Clive, you have won the value of the bust, which we now know is the top lot. You have won £2,500 in cash. Congratulations. So can we tempt you to swap it for the mystery lot, which may be worth even more? Come and join me. And here is your lot, Laura and Clive.
Lovely.
You fell in love with this straight away.
I did, yes. The quality and the workmanship in it is just wonderful. It was just so good.
As things stand, you know you've won its value in cash, which is £2,500. It's the top lot. But the game is not over yet. Charlie is going to tempt you with today's mystery lot. Charlie, what have you got for us today?
I am indeed. I've got to be very delicate with this. Now, do you want to know all about it?
Yes, please.
It's a Chinese porcelain figure of a lady. It's what's commonly called a biscuit figure, with the porcelain having been fired without a glaze. It was created during the Qianlong era of the Qing dynasty and dates from between 1736 and 1795. And, as it happens, it is in perfect condition. But does this lot cut a fine enough figure to tempt you?
That's very interesting. I know that the market for Chinese figures and for Chinese work is very high. There's a lot of demand on it, and it looks a superb figurine. What do you think, Laura?
It's certainly thrown a spanner in the works.
That's a very, very fine piece of porcelain.
I trust your judgment.
I'm going to stick with the £2,500 of this bust.
Right, so your final decision is...
The bust.
The bust. But Charlie, please tell us what they've thrown away.
You know, there's been a huge explosion of interest in all Oriental artefacts, and porcelain in particular. And I go to sale rooms up and down the country. The other day I went to one, and there was a piece of Chinese porcelain, and it was estimated at £100 to £200. The bidding stopped at £82,000.
Wow. Yeah.
You know, and that's the way the Chinese market's going. I've got to tell you that this figure that you have thrown away, metaphorically,
Yes.
is worth £425.
You shouldn't do that, Charlie.
I know I shouldn't. I'm a rotter, aren't I?
You
You
are.
have to make sure these people go through medicals before you do that kind of thing. £425 for something that is so old and so beautiful and has travelled the world in somebody's socks or who knows.
Yeah.
So, Charlie, we've never actually heard about the bust, so tell us about it.
Nobody's asked us about the bust. It's a carved bust of a young girl, as you can see, made by the Austrian sculptor Hermann Kultz in 1898. And he worked in bronze, marble, porcelain, and here in wood. He's perhaps best known for his invention of a new technique for creating polychromatic wood by soaking the wood in stained resin over and over again until it was saturated with colour. Kultz's work certainly attracted attention, and attracted so much attention that some of his work was commissioned by Emperor Franz Joseph I of Austria. So you couldn't have chosen anything better, really. You couldn't have chosen a better man, a better subject, a better technique. Really, you've made the right decision, and congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank
You today, Laura and Clive, are going home with £2,500. Very, very well done. Charlie, thank you so much for lending us all your expertise, as usual. Look forward to seeing you again soon. And we look forward to seeing you next time when more teams will be trying to spot the lot to win the lot on For What It's Worth. Goodbye for now. That was fantastic.